So you guys have an incredible story, and I'm going to start it here because, Tom, you're autistic, correct?
Yeah, yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, and obviously, Luke, you kind of, I'm going to let you guys tell your story, but how you got Tom into weightlifting. But I want to even dive into the autism as well. But tell the world your story, coming from a small town there in Scotland, and now you're the world's strongest men. Take us on this journey.
Yeah, I mean, so like you said, being from Invergordon, I was diagnosed with autism at a young age, I think 11, 12 years old. So, I had it through my whole school years and even into the kind of higher school years as well, into college and into work. So, yeah, so growing up in Invergordon, small wee town, all we wanted to play was, well, football in UK, soccer in America. So all I wanted to do was play soccer. That was the one thing that I loved. That's the one thing that I felt normal doing was, having this ball at my feet and just kicking it about everywhere. Everyone in Invergordon played football. Everybody knew what football was. That's all they did was play it. Yeah, but it was such a tight-knit community as well. So everyone helped each other, and we were all just friends, and everyone knew each other's business as well, which can be a bad thing and a good thing at the same time. But yeah, so then growing up there, for me, I think I coped better growing up there because it's such a small place. I went to school which had 40 people in it. So my primary school had 40 people in it. That really helped me with the autism, getting into the education system. The teachers were really supportive to me. All my classmates, everybody that went to that school were really, really kind of,
so you didn't feel alone. Well, give us this too, because it's interesting. One of my closest friends here is the general manager of Seattle Seahawks, John Schneider, and his son Ben is autistic, and Ben is not very verbal, but he could write out everything. What is it like to have autism? What limits you? How do you feel as opposed to people who don't have autism?
Yeah, I mean, like certainly for school, you think you're in a box by yourself. I mean, when I was in primary school, it was all right, but when I went into secondary school, that's when I wanted just to trap myself away and lock myself in a room, and I couldn't cope without a plan. I needed to know everything I was doing every hour of the day. If I didn't have that, that's when I would then take maybe a tantrum or misbehave from my mum and dad, lash out, and yeah, that was kind of really hard. So it was just being structure and planning for myself, even to this day, is very, very important for myself to get through life and to get through what I'm doing successfully.
And Luke, as you're seeing this, what are you doing? Are you frustrated? Were you helping them? Do you understand it?
I mean, it was a difficult one to understand, I guess, when we were all younger, a lot younger. But I'm 10 years older than Tom, so I started my strength journey a little bit earlier, and I was quite a quiet guy, quite a shy teenager growing up, and I saw what the gym gave to me was this massive confidence and like sense of achievement. Every time I went into the gym, I was like, "Wow, I'm lifting more weights than I did last week. This is amazing! Like, how can I do that?" And like the power that gave me as a young man growing up in a small town was massive. And then something kind of in my head thought, well, maybe Tom, as this not very confident guy, this kind of guy that's struggling, this young boy, that I saw little bits of myself in Tom. So we thought, right, let's get Tom to the gym. He's 6'8". He's a monster anyway. So this guy is gonna be fucking huge eventually. So it was amazing. It was like the kind of transformation was just insane, physically and mentally in Tom. It just, over the course of a year, his confidence it blossomed. He became this butterfly. He was a caterpillar, went into this little cocoon and came out this jacked body, this jacked butterfly. And it was really nice for the family to see, because we weren't sure. Tom growing up, he probably doesn't remember too much, because a lot of it was, when you go through trauma when you're younger, it's quite hard to pinpoint exactly those tough moments are, because you almost want to forget about them, right? So Tom's now 2 times world's strongest man, right. And it's probably more difficult to imagine himself as that little guy that he wasn't able to get on on a train, you know, for 5 minutes, or leave the house without anyone, or, you know, sleep over at friends' houses, and that anxiety, that kind of crippling anxiety that kind of, I think, was with Tom from a young age, was very apparent to see, in the lack of verbal communication that Tom was
Right.
able to give when he was younger. You know, Tom wouldn't be able to go into, I don't mean to speak like you're not
Yep.
here, sorry, Tom, but when Tom went into the gym the first time, your head was down, and that was it, constantly down and unable to communicate. But then, you know, over time and patience and more understanding, you know, we've got this monster of a guy now. You know, it's incredible.
Tom, is it, when you have the level of autism, do you know and understand everything that's going on and you're just not able to communicate?
I mean, when obviously a few years back, say before I started strongman, I didn't
Right.
understand much of it at all. I mean, I just thought, like, because I have two other brothers and two sisters, I used to kind of say to my parents, why am I different? You know, because like I can't do the things that my wee brother could do. I couldn't do the things that Luke could do, and I couldn't do the things that my siblings could do. So that was there. But then when I started going to the gym, and had to go into mentally uncomfortable places like the hood up thing, that's when I would usually quit and go, I can't do this. But yeah, I just kind of started like understanding it much more. I'd start understanding my mind much more, because it was me putting myself in that position, not anybody else. And that's when then I really, really kind of started growing mentally instead of physically.
Wow.
You know, the gym was the thing that saved my life. I mean, people over exaggerate, saying like, oh, the gym's this, the gym's that, but the gym is the thing that saved my life and really taught me mentally how to control the autism when things get too stressful, or I get too much anxiety and stuff. I know how to take myself away now, or I'll go to the gym. You know, I have the gym's my safety blanket now. You know, I can go to the gym, speak to loads of people, go there for an hour, and come out the other side and enjoy it. So,
You know what I love about this too, man? I have a whole, chapter in my book Unbreakable about, how you can get yourself through the grave of anxiety and depression is be of service. But this is next level, Luke, for you to take your little or younger brother, right, who was struggling with autism, to gym to transform him. Do you realize like how beautiful that is? Are you allowed to love yourself up for it? It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge. You know, that's something that I kind of, giving myself self praise maybe, or credit is difficult. It's difficult sometimes, but you know, I see the boy, the man that Tom's become from that little boy, and it's amazing. You know, it's so special and so unique. You know, to think that, you know, the gym, training in a lifting some weights, getting better physically, can actually make a huge difference mentally, right? It's I'm sure there's science, I'm sure there's studies there, but I'm not that way inclined. I'm very much more of I wear my heart on the sleeve kind of guy, and you know, I see it firsthand what it does to Tom, and yeah, it's pretty special. It's witnessing it firsthand was very special at the time.
And Tom, how does that make your bond with your brother, knowing that like he's the one that opened the door for you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, mine and Luke's bond is like an unbreakable bond. You know, I think I owe a lot to Luke for basically saving my life, because, like I said, we didn't know where I was going to be. Like I said, I don't really know much about my childhood, but could have went in care, could have went other places, and you know, my mum and dad could have just said, we can't handle you, and away you go. So, you know, the gym, when I stepped into the gym, like I said, and Luke took me there, he kept pushing me, and he kept pushing me, and there was something in my head to say, don't quit, and I didn't quit. And then look at us now, you know, 10 years later, where the gym's my life, and I love every minute of it, and I owe so much to the gym and Luke for saving my life. So